Hi to everyone. In this video, I'm just going to discuss about us how to do the predictions about future with machine learning algorithms. We are having several steps to be followed to do the predictions. The first step is to download the data set. But before downloading the data set, at first we have to analyze the problem. We have to trace the problem. According to that problem, we have to download the data set from the existing data sources such as Kaggle, Data World, and Google Data Set Search Engine, and so on. So many data sources are available. From any one of the data sources, we have to download the data set as first. The next one step is we have to analyze our data set. When you are taking the data set, at first we have to analyze what type of data set is that. So based on the labels, we are classifying it into the two types. One is a labeled data set, and next one is the unlabeled data set. So labeled data set means you will have several columns, and all the columns are categorized, and you will have the heading. So we can see it can be the properties of the data set. Properties, or else we may call that one as a features of the data set. For example, if you are taking the COVID data set, there you will have the date on which the number of patients are affected by corona. So the first column will be the date, and next one column you will have the how many number of persons are affected by corona. So number of persons will be the title for that field, and next one you will have the state. State means in which state those peoples are affected, so that state will be represented. So in such a cases, when you are looking into the data set, those three fields are named. Such type of data set are called as a labeled data set. And what about unlabeled data set? Means unstructured data can be called as an unlabeled data set. For example, you are downloading the data set from any social networking sites. You can take the Twitter data set. The data will not be categorized, or else you may take the data set which was downloaded from the Facebook. You will that will not be categorized. Chat messages that you are downloading from the WhatsApp will not be categorized. So you will not have several features, but you will have unstructured data. Based on the properties of those unstructured data, you have to form several clusters and you have to do the predictions. So such type of data set is called as an unlabeled data set. And next one thing, based on the target variable, we can classify your data set into the balanced data set or unbalanced data set. A balanced data set means if the target variable, when you are considering about the target variable, you will have several things. For example, when you are considering the target variable, you will consider about the classes, whether it is yes or no, or else it is a multi-class data set and so on. If it is a multi-class data set, means you will have more number of options will be there. But if it is if it is of a class just having only the two values, yes or no, means you will check for that one, whether the number of yes is equal to the number of no's. It means whether the positive is equal to the value of the negative. So that one, if it is equal, means that is called as a balanced data set. Just for example, I am saying you may take the data set of diabetic patients. You will have so many factors for defining a patient to be affected by diabetic. You can have many fields, but at the last field, that is last one feature will be the which describe whether that patient is really affected by the diabetic problem or not. If the patients are affected by the diabetic problem, the count is equal to the count of the patients who are not at all affected by the diabetic problem, means then it is called as a balanced data set. If it is an unbalanced data set, you will have more number of count for the diabetic, more number of count for the patients are affected by the diabetic problem, and you will have less number of count for the record, for the you will have the less number of records for the patients who are not at all affected by the diabetic problem. What's the necessity of thinking about this balanced or the unbalanced data set? Means definitely we have to consider about the balanced and unbalanced data set, because we need equal number of classes, both for positive as well as for negative. Then only we can train our model very well, so that we will get the very good accuracy. So that's why it's very important to check whether the data set is a balanced one or unbalanced one. Our next step is you have to fragment your data set into two parts. One is such as training and testing data. But before the fragmenting your data set into the testing and training data set, at first you have to do the cleaning operations. You have to clean your data. For example, you have to remove the missing values, or else you have to impute those missing values. So after performing the pre-processing of your data set, then you can do the process of fragmentations. You can fragment your data set into the training data, and next one is testing data. Training data means you will, for example, you can take you can consider I'm just having 1,000 records in my data set. Among 1,000 records, I may take 3/4 or else 60% of that records. For example, I'm just taking 600 records for my model to be trained. So I can consider that first 600 records for the training data, and the rest of the 40% I can make use of those records just for the testing data. So it's very important to fragment your data set into the two parts, as one is a training data and next one is a testing data, because it finds very important role in modeling your model. The reason is, if we are going to train your model with a huge data set, means then the performance of the model will be very good. If you are training your model with a very lesser lesser number of records, means definitely your model will not deliver a very good accuracy. So it's very important to decide as how many records to be considered as a training data and how many records to be used for the testing data. Our next one is, after splitting your data set into the two types as a training and testing, Then you have to apply the suitable machine learning algorithm and you have to build a model. Machine learning algorithm means at first you have to consider what type of machine learning algorithm that we are going to use it. Are we going to make use of the supervised learning algorithm, unsupervised learning algorithm, or else reinforcement learning algorithm? That thing you have to decide it. So the machine learning algorithm, you can select it based upon your data set selection. So after selecting the category as whether it is a supervised machine learning algorithm, or else are you going to make use of unsupervised, or else reinforcement machine learning algorithm, whatever it may be. Even if you have chosen any one of the learning algorithm, we are having so many algorithms. You can make use of several methodologies to build your model. So you have to choose a specific one and you have to build a model according to the algorithm that you have chosen. Or else you may take many algorithms. For example, you may take the 5 algorithms and you can train each and every model. For example, you can construct 5 models with your training data set, and you can have the comparisons with all those 5 models also. It's purely up to your choice. But the machine learning algorithm have to be chosen based upon your the data set. So by using those algorithms, you can build a model. After the constructions of your model, you have to test your model with the test data. That is, you have to apply the testing data set to your model, and you have to verify whether the model that was developed by yourself is delivering a very good accuracy. Very good accuracy means whatever the information that you are giving. For example, I'm just inputting the informations for the patients who is suffering from diabetic. So your model should give me the result as this person is having the diabetic. Instead of that one, it should not return me the value as that person is not all suffering from diabetic. If it is giving me the wrong result, then my model is not at all good. So I have to calculate the accuracy, I have to predict its performance. For analyzing the performance of the model, I can make use of many performance measures, and I can visualize all those things by means of the graphical representations too. Yes, the next one step is improving its performance. After analyzing the performance of the model, if the performance of the model is not at all to the satisfaction level means, then you can improve its performance by hypertuning the model. So once if you have hypertuned your model means automatically the performance of your model will get increased. Or else you can have some comparisons with the different types of model, and you can have the analysis and you can easily analyze as why this model is not at all working effectively. So the thing is to either you have to hypertune your the parameters in the model, or else you can do some modifications in the training data set and the testing data set. What are the modifications that you can do? It means you can increase the number of records for the training data set, and you can reduce the number of records for the testing data set. The reason is, if you are training your model with more number of records means, then easily your model will predict the exact value. That's why we are suggesting you to train your model at least with 60 percentage of your data set. So these are all the steps which has been used for the doing the predictions using the machine learning algorithms. I hope that you have understood this concept clearly. If you are having any queries, kindly post your queries. Thank you.